So today what we will do, we will learn about Docker. So what is Docker and how it is useful, why most of the people are using this kind of containerization, why they would want to upgrade their systems to Docker actually. Okay, and we will understand what is Docker and how it works in this video, and I will have a simple example to run the Docker container on top of EC2 instance. That's what we are being doing that. Okay, and so Docker is a image based service basically. So Docker is a container based platform, allows for highly portable workloads. Let's say you have multiple kind of applications of code. When I said kind, one application is in Java, one application is in Node.js, one is in Python. It will let you loosely couple your applications. Basically, there won't be any dependencies. For example, let's say if I have this Macy's.com, right? Let's go Macy's.com, right? And each one of these tabs, you see that men, women, beauty, home, look at that as an application. Okay, take that you are a software engineer, even though we are not software engineers, like we are not writing an application code, treat yourself you are an application developer and consider each of these tabs are an application basically, is an application basically. So let's say this application has been written in Java, and this is Python, and this is something in Node.js, and this is Angular, things like that. Take that as an example. And now you want to integrate all of them in a one place, so that people can use Macy's.com, and so that they can access all these applications. And for example, let's say you don't have that many resources. When I say that many resources, you have a limited resources. For example, 3 instances or 4 instances, and you would want to deploy all these applications on those limited resources. And when you deploy this kind of legacy applications on a very limited resources, you are going to get a lot of issues basically. And the architecture is very, very complex. And port configuration, and what port needs to talk to what port, and that can mess up things. And it is very complex system basically. So what Docker is doing, using Docker lets you loosely couple your application. You can bind it. When I say bind it, so you are building an image in the OS level. Like when you're getting your OS, let's say this is a Python application, and you should have a Python installed, and get Python base image, and get your application prerequisites installed, and get your application code, and have that image built. Similar way, Java image, and Node.js image. Similar way, you have your images built. Now, who will be managing those images? Generally, they are legacy applications, right? Legacy applications deployed into EC2 instance, for example. We'll be managing them, right? We'll be managing. We are responsible for like installation of Python. We are responsible for installation of Java, Node.js. We are responsible for installation of prerequisites, then bind the code, and port configuration, everything. That's our responsibility. Now, since we are packaging with a Docker, and now whose responsibility to manage them on limited resource on EC2 instances? Now Docker will take care of that. So what we need to do is we need to just install Docker, and Docker let run your containers basically. And can Docker manage itself? Can Docker manage containers itself? My answer is no. That is why they use third-party container orchestration tools called Kubernetes or Docker Swarm. There is a Docker service is also called Docker Swarm. Okay, and those are the 2 container orchestration tools at the moment in the current market. So what we will do, I have an EC2 instance up and running. We can go ahead and install Docker on this EC2 instance, and we'll run our sample Docker application. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. Okay, and let me connect to my EC2 instance. Now SSH, what I would do, sudo yum install Docker -y. Let me install Docker. Okay. If you have any questions, you can stop me. Okay. You don't have to pretend yourself like you understood, even if you don't understand. Okay. You have to ask me, then only I will know. Git, let's install Git. And let me generate a key so that I can clone the code. I don't have to write. Okay, now what I will do, I can get the code. So let's go to GitHub. Hopefully this will work. Let's see. Okay, it's working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my SSH key. I'll delete this key. That's yesterday's one. So I'm going to add new key. Okay, add SSH key. Now, so we'll follow this documentation so that you guys will have this document, so you guys can go through it. Okay, and let's run this sample application and let's see what exactly this guy was telling us, and we'll follow the same today. And let's go ahead and clone this repository. Okay, let's clone this repository. Git clone. Done. Let's go to app. Okay, now we are here. Now we are in the app, and let's create a file called Docker. Let's see. In order to execute any Docker commands, you should be, so you are building an image based on this file. That means what you are telling, like, okay, I need an image with these instructions. Remember, we need an image with a git install. What we are doing, we are creating an EC2 instance and we are installing it and we are taking an image, right? The same way, I need an image with these instructions. What we are doing, we are getting a base image and we are getting prerequisites installed, and we are getting application code binded, and we are exposing, if you want to a specific port, and we are running the container. How simple is that? Okay, so let's get the Docker file that he was talking about. Okay,
we don't give any extension, how the file will be saved?
yeah, Docker, yeah, Docker syntax basically, and a D capital, Docker file D capital. You see that? Create a file name called Docker file. And this is the Docker file and the D capital. Always you will be running commands where this file is, like a Maven commands for pom.xml, right? The same way. You don't have to run them at the same location. If you are running them from a different location, what you need to do, you need to provide the path of that file, exact path of that file. Okay, so let's expose that to port 3000 and let's see. And okay, this is good. Now my Docker file is ready. Before that, let me add user mod and hyphen a hyphen g hyphen g. That's it, right?
You are in app folder.
Yeah, that's fine. You can modify user permissions from anywhere. User belongs to the system. He does not belongs to that specific folder basically. Even if I do ls, I don't see anything. Okay. Now let's try to execute Docker. Okay, this guy now can execute Docker. Okay, and now what we need to do, we need to build an image first. Okay, and let's go ahead and build an image. Then we need to run the container. Okay. This dot, remember this dot is telling this command, okay, this Docker file is right here. And this getting started is just a image name basically. Okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to image. And let's see what happens. Can't connect is Docker is running. Let's go ahead and verify. How can I verify?
Complete.
Okay, it's not running. Let's go ahead and start it. Now it's running. And let's go and run your. Okay, let's reboot. Okay, and let's reboot the system. Sometimes when you make changes like configuration changes, right, and the system needs to be rebooted in order to get those changes. The same way when we get updates, right, and what we will do right here, you will see, you see that App Store, three updates, right? And when you update them, sometimes it will ask you to restart the laptop. Then only it will, get that up-to-date changes basically. So we installed Docker, we added EC2 user to the Docker group, and in order to get those changes, we are just restarting the server. Let's see. It's not ready yet. Let's go ahead and verify our system. Okay, now it is up and running. Let's go ahead and verify that. Okay, now it is available. So getting started. And now what I would do, I don't want any syntax problems. So I'll just simply, this is getting started, just image name, and I can change it. And you see that now image is building. It is building an image. You see that this installing. Do you know what exactly happening? It is installing prerequisites. Basically, whatever the prerequisites that are being mentioned in this JSON file, package.json file, it is installing those dependencies. Okay. Okay. Now list the images. You see that example image, right? 5 seconds ago, example image. Now our image is ready. Let's go ahead and run our first container and let's see what happens. Should I change anything from here?
Yes, image.
Yes, example image.
Exactly.
Yep.
Example image. And we're deploying that port 3000, right? And let's see. Now let's go ahead and check in the port 3000 and let's see what happens. So what I will do before that, I will change the inbound roles in the security group and let's see. I'm not sure, one day I'm getting this console and one day I'm getting different console. I'll add a role to all traffic. I'll just save the role and I can go ahead and easy to go to running instances, grab your public IP, and let's see what happens. Grab your public IP, let's go HTTP public IP and port 3000, right? You see that now it's working. You see that this is the container that we are expecting to be run and it is running. Any questions from anybody?
So actually the public DNS, whatever we having is porting to 8080, but we can change over here in the in this
Yeah,
tab.
if
So
you,
then it will work.
yeah, if you want your service running on a specific port,
Mhm.
you can
We
do
can
that.
change. Okay.
You can do that, but you will be specifically directing to that port basically. Okay, that's what happens even if they do message.com, right? Message.com, right? And for example, this application, this home application is running on a specific port. When somebody click on this URL, a specific URL, behind in the DNS, it will look for that specific port, port 3000, for example. This home application is running on port 3000. And from this DNS2, it is going to make an API call through port 3000. Okay? Does that make sense? Hello? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Krishna.
okay. I just wanted to make sure you guys are getting it. Any doubts from anybody?